salad. Aha.
I kept one of the postcards from the trash, about the trash, so I can call and say, I'm gonna need trash bins. I said, when I move in, I want to have a trash bin ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to call the Monday, March 9th meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Roll call, please, Gina.
Rocco Gonzalez,
Here.
Pleasner, Mark Piontek,
Here.
Mayor Hagedorn,
Here.
John Borgman,
Here.
Chuck Watson,
Here.
Chad Briggs,
Here.
Carolyn Witt,
Here,
Mike Wood, Ken Shear, Aaron Beckman.
Here.
Please rise and join me. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hope everyone's had the opportunity to read the rather lengthy minutes from our last meeting, and I would entertain a motion to approve.
Before, I got one minor change on page 12, a comment that I had made. The last sentence, there is quite a bit of, and you've got great down there, and it should be grade, is what I'd said.
Page 12.
Page 12 of the minutes,
quite a bit of,
the last line of that paragraph of mine. So
Okay.
there is quite a bit of great down there. It should be grade.
All right, I got it.
Any other corrections? Then I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the minutes from the February 9th meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 3, file number 26-0304, preliminary development plan, Parkway Estates, Foxcrest, PDR.
Yes, good evening, Commission. This is the third stage here for the Parkway Estates preliminary development residential here that we've got down off Foxcrest Drive, just south of Target there. Once again, subject property, about 7 acres here, and the applicants actually have a different plan that they got to me earlier today. And so how this will work is the old plan is technically what is still submitted before you, but the applicants are requesting that you approve this new plan as a condition onto the old plan. So you basically direct the final development plan follows this plan instead of this one. So just a technicality because of when it was submitted. So this is what the applicants would like you all to consider tonight. So that being said, there are a number of changes between last month and this month. Most notable is an increased number of units. Before we had 78 proposed townhomes. Now we've got 83. A few of the alleys have also been reworked, as you can see on that west side there. Just lengthened that alley a little bit more and squeezed in a few more units through there. And then these townhomes on the east have been reoriented, slightly moved further west a little bit due to some grading issues on the east side of that property with the hill leading up to those lots on Northcrest Drive. Let's see. These townhomes here, instead of having rear entry detached garages, their garages will be in the unit themselves, and they'll have driveways here as shown on the plan. Let's see. And I think those are all the changes that were made. Still 30-foot streets, or a 30-foot street connecting all the units, 12-foot alleys, 2 required parking spaces. I guess the applicant did clarify that there is a 5-foot setback for all of on all sides except for the attached units, of course. Oh, it's 6 foot? Okay, my bad. Sorry, 6 foot setback on all sides. Let's see. I guess staff had some concerns about the alley width, and due to potential EMS and trash collection issues. Staff is also recommending that the guest parking, let's see, where are we? The guest parking right here be reoriented to the south side of the development. And staff is also recommending that the developer or the applicant add a sidewalk on the other side of the street due to asking for exceptions, to our standard sort of setback requirements. And yeah, I guess I'll let the applicants speak their piece, and you can ask questions after they're done. So go for it.
Good evening, Todd Meyer with Houston Homes. So thank you, Aaron, for the summary. I would point out, I don't know if I can use your pointer. Aaron pointed out the some of the units here that were converted to what we call tuck under parking. The same is true for these units here. So the detached garage that you see here, this is a much deeper lot because it has a driveway and then a garage here. Here, we've got a 25-foot driveway at a minimum. Some of these are more like 30 because of the sawtooth edge on the back of here. But this allowed us to shorten the lots for these two units, these two banks of units here and here. And the reason that we did that was that after the engineering plans were completed, we understood that the grade falling through that unit made them a walkout unit as opposed to an in-grade type unit. So that's the reason that we made that modification. And the other thing that we're looking at is, obviously trying to double load that alley, and the right-of-way that has been established for those alleys is 20 feet wide. So if there is a need for, any kind of emergency vehicle that, needs more room or maybe needs to, pass by something, there would be space on either side of the alleys. In terms of the parking, the reason that we have the parking on this side is that this is where the mailboxes would go. So we, as you know, many of the new communities do not have an individual mailbox in front of the house. We do the case of boxes for centralized delivery and pickup. So that's one reason, is that our mailboxes would go here. The other reason is that on this side, these are all driveways. So these are all front-loaded units. So we really cannot put the parking on that south side of the drive. And that's really the same reason for the sidewalk. We felt like it was ample for the community of this size, or the neighborhood of this size, to have the sidewalk on this inside edge, and really not sort of crossing over all of these driveways on the external side, or the outer perimeter, if you will. And then one other thing just to call your attention to would be at this end, these units are currently shown as having an outdoor parking pad. Those would be an option to have a garage if you wanted one. What we're trying to do is really promote affordability and having people to be able to get into these units at a reasonable cost. So we'd like to sort of test and see, how that goes with these units, and then, at this end, then look at the option of adding garage versus, an outdoor parking pad. But as Aaron mentioned, each unit has a minimum of 2 off-street parking spaces associated with it.
That's good.
Any commissioners have any questions?
So your mail, all of the units will get the mail from that one spot right there is what?
Centralized mail, and we do this in most of our communities where it's it's easier for the mail delivery. It's quicker, so the U.S. Postal Service actually
Right.
prefers it now. What we've found in our communities too is that it becomes kind of a natural sort of gathering spot or social hub of the community, which is what that central lawn is really designed to do. We envision, people having events and parties and kids running around there. So that's sort of reinforcing kind of the central node of the plan, if you will.
Will you have it undercover in some way,
ma-
rather than just the box sitting there?
The mailboxes, yeah, generally they're just open air.
Just
yeah.
open air.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to stand up for this one because it's too hard to turn my neck and creep that way. But, so if I understood you correctly, this is going to be 20 foot then? These alleys, could you mention that?
It's 12 foot of paved within a 20-foot right-of-way is how it's laid out right now.
So you decided not to go and pursue the 20-foot alley requirement the city is requesting?
Well, our discussions have been looking at the 12-foot alley in lieu of sprinklering all the units. So in the discussion with the fire chief, that was the preference was to actually go with the sprinklered units was his preference.
So you're proposing then to sprinkle all the units in the complex?
Well, at a minimum, the ones that would be off of the alley that don't have a street in front of them, we haven't received clarification yet of whether all the units would need to be sprinkled, but at a minimum, the ones that are facing the park there.
Okay, so that takes care of the fire service being that area. What about trash and
Snow removal?
police, EMS, that issue with the narrower streets and alleys?
So that's what that extra space on either side of the 12-foot, within that 20-foot right-of-way, that's where the trash cans would go for the recycling and the trash pickup and whatnot. We envision the snow, you come in and you just push the snow right out onto Foxcrest and then it gets cleared from there. So we're not anticipating that, snow would be piled up, too much in the development, but you could, on the one that sort of curves in from the right there, where it tees into that other alley, you see the space between the units, that would be an ideal place for snow.
So would that be curb and gutter on that 12-foot? No. Okay. Concrete, just flat surface.
Concrete, yep.
So really, you're not gaining, you mentioned that area could be driven on, it couldn't be. You couldn't drive on any of that 20-foot easement because it would be yard.
If you need to, it's right of way, but yeah,
You couldn't drive on it.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And the alleyways are gonna be HOAs to maintain, correct? The city's not gonna maintain those?
That, our understanding was that those would be city maintained as well.
Staff's recommendation is, staff's recommendation is really that they should be 20 feet, but if the planning commission, recommends and council approves that they are less than that, that the HOA does take care of maintenance of those alleys.
Yes, that's been the standard other places in town, that.
Where is that at in other places in town?
Hussey Acres?
All the city
Hussey Acres?
city has
Whoever the developer was, that was before my time, but it was approved. Yeah, but it isn't. It's a private, is that correct, Darren? Didn't you have issues with that recently?
If you're talking about, let me get, are you asking the
Turtle Creek?
east of Rabbit Trail?
Right,
Those units?
right, and they.
Those areas back behind there, yeah, that's privately maintained.
Yeah, because they came to us and said, why aren't we being treated as a city street?
No,
in
But
the one
those-
that you're talking about is Turtle Creek.
Turtle Creek, oh, okay.
Turtle Creek, that development that the street went through to go ahead and service all of those units, that was originally developed to be private, and then it remained that way probably for 20-plus years. And then now the residents that live in there would like the city to go ahead and take over.
And then that area just east off of Rabbit Trail is,
Those,
Also
yes,
private.
those units, those original units, the areas in the back, that the city does not maintain that. The city only maintains Rabbit Trail.
right,
Again, those are not alleys, those are
no,
private
right,
streets.
right.
And the same thing when
Yeah,
you
the
go.
private access to.
Right, when you go south on Rabbit Trail, those short things by Lake Washington are all private streets all the way until you get too close to Staten, correct?
I'm trying to think of where you're talking about.
Here, I'll pull up a map. How about that?
Where
The-
Lake Washington starts up and Hazy Acres stops.
The duplexes and whatnot that are on
Those
the
were all-
west side of.
Where are we looking?
Oh, that Ambridge Drive and Brighton Drive,
Well,
those?
all
yeah,
of those are-
private, those
right.
are privately maintained.
Those are all private streets, they're not an alleyway again
Correct,
though
we
either.
do not maintain
So
those.
those are basically just
There's
like
two
an.
of them down there where Aaron's pulling them up, right
go.
there.
Yeah.
Those are privately maintained, Ambridge Lane and Brighton.
Again, those are just private streets, just like Turtle Creek. Those are all private streets. They're not alleys.
Correct.
Were they built to city standards though, as far as width?
No.
What's, no.
They
No.
weren't built to city
For now.
standards on width,
Ambridge
correct?
and Brighton were both, I think, something less than, I mean, if they could have built them to that, I think it was a matter, they were able at the time to squeeze more units in per
Right.
square
Right.
footage.
Everybody
That's-
wants, I get that.
But-
That's a sacrifice that was made.
Right. But if you go back to, Sal made the comment at one point in time for Weber Heights Drive going east, ended up in a cul-de-sac. If they would have had those streets there as standard width, they could have gone with Weber Heights and connected to one of those. But because that was a private
right.
street and it was too narrow,
Yeah.
there was no way that they were going to ever connect that
Yeah,
to there.
and they were not even, I mean, the cross-section of the street itself was not built to city
No,
standard
right,
either.
but that's what he said, if those things would have been just stubbed out.
Right.
And to the spec for the street, they could have connected Weber Heights Drive straight over there instead of needing to jog over
But
the
for
way they did.
clarification with Carol, that Turtle Creek was a situation where, and the issue too that we would have had in there is that you see those homes, they go right up to the edge of Turtle Creek. And that was the issue too that the city had, and those property owners, I think, owned to the center line of that easement that goes through there.
Correct.
They'd have to turn that right away over to the city. We didn't have enough, and then you would have those homes that are right up to the edge of it. So,
Aaron, are you able to scale Ambridge? I saw you doing a distance there a while ago. You able to determine that with that?
The width of the street?
The width of the street?
Yeah,
I
it looked to
think
be
they're
about 26 feet,
26, that's what I thought.
or 26, about 26 feet, yeah.
Is that what, that's the width of our current fire lane requirement?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. Yep.
Any other questions, comments?
Aaron, could you give me a little clarification on what the staff's view was on the parking, moving that parking to the south side of the street?
Yeah, that was more so so the sidewalk doesn't have to do an awkward jog there, so it can just be free flowing. Obviously, if that was kind of a low priority recommendation in the grand scheme of things, but if at all possible, that's a recommendation, something staff would like to see.
Yeah, and my name's Kurt Arnerst. I want to address that. Aaron, we plan on putting a ADA ramp in line with that, so to make this a walkable
That's great, yeah.
community. Those cross-section sidewalks will interconnect, so you know, in a small scale wasn't quite shown. We get into final engineered detail, you'll be able to walk. You don't have to walk on L's but there gonna be a piece of sidewalk there, so when you park and go up and get your mail, you got a piece of sidewalk to walk on. But you can walk straight across too.
Good deal. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the only other thing for the staff suggestion really would be developing more sidewalk on the southern part.
Correct.
And is that just, I guess, to enhance walkability or like?
Yeah, I mean, frankly, you know, there's 83 units in this development, and you've got a lot of people nearby at, you know, who are going to be living very close to this development in Stonebridge, you know, and Phoenix Park is right there, and as part of the, you know, new firehouse, they've built a path right to Phoenix Park. So, you know, because the developer is asking for, you know, all of these extra exceptions to our zoning, we felt it was an appropriate place to maybe ask for another sidewalk, and that's a condition you all can impose. So
Aaron-
yes.
Aaron, you were wanting a sidewalk on both sides of the main street there that loops through then?
Correct. Mhm.
Okay. And I guess my only concern with that is you have a lot of driveways that are crossing
Sure.
the sidewalk.
Absolutely.
And pedestrian traffic in vehicle traffic areas to where
Sure.
if it's just on the north side, you only have that happening
Sure.
for that
Yeah, I guess I would.
alley.
Sure. I guess I would argue, you know, people are going to walk in the street regardless, you know, even if you only have one sidewalk or not. I think it's just better to, you know, keep as many people, you know, obviously there's going to be people who want to walk in the street, but, you know, to give people options to walk on both sides of the street. And I appreciate you bringing that up.
I kind of agree with John. I mean, it's like you're, you know, the people backing out of the drive, you know, are going to be increased, you know, chances of hitting somebody there that, you know, because of not being able to see all the time or whatever and stuff too. But you've got, you know, so many fewer driveways on the other side of the street that are going to actually, the sidewalk even crosses and stuff like that. It's just, I don't see the benefit at all of putting them on that side there.
Yeah, the engineer who laid this out, he recommended that put the sidewalk on the inside circle just for that safety
Right.
issue of pedestrians, moms and baby strollers, dads and baby
Exactly.
strollers, pushing baby strollers, not paying attention, backing out. Sidewalk on the inside, and again, this is going to be the most sidewalk-built development in the city limits, in the city of Washington history, with all the sidewalks we have here. So that was the reason to put it on the inside loop and not put it where you would back over somebody. So,
And that would be the edge that would also have the no parking,
I was
correct?
gonna say, where were you going for the parking
Okay.
then? Because it's just one side of the street, right?
well, parking on one side, and that would
On
be
the side with the sidewalk?
correct.
Because you have driveways on the other one, so it doesn't do you any good there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. That way it's, you know, people aren't around any vehicular traffic.
A question I had, you've got continue the privacy fence south to lot 14.
Oh, yes. Let me
North.
bring up the
One.
engineered plans, and maybe the
I mean, if
applicants
you've got
can talk to this.
Now 83 lots, I'm not sure exactly which ones you're referring to now and stuff.
Yeah,
Is
no,
that
sorry, I didn't-
relative to that still, or
Yeah. Let me
is that
pull
a
this
moot
up.
point now, or what?
Okay, where are we? Let's see. Okay, yeah. So these are the engineered plans of the old design, but I don't know. So I guess this is a question for the applicant. You had indicated that, you know, there's a retaining wall right here, you know, and a fence on it. Is that still in the cards? Or what are you planning to do for screening on this east side of the development here?
The east side, I think the buffer zone requirements are either a fence or a landscaping.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
In talking to Todd and Houston, they would prefer to maximize the flat ground behind those units to the east. So we we're working on modifying that grading plan to steepen the slope, but make it a, basically, good example is right across from Subway on Highway 100. When we did that highway work for MoDOT, we value engineered that, eliminated the retaining wall, saved the city $600,000, and that slope looks as good as the day it went in. So that's what I told them is let's go ahead and look along those lines, steepen the slope, fabric it, rip wrap it, and you still can plant trees and bushes in it. And as far as the landscaping against the current R1 resident, we would probably put a fence in that corner as shown.
So yeah, you're saying you would put a fence right here as the plan shows.
Correct.
And then steepen this grade here and then plant.
Plant landscaping trees at the property line to the folks to the east there.
Okay, and that would,
But one of the things we wanted to talk to him about is, I know one of the gentlemen that bought a lot from me, he didn't want his view impeded.
Sure.
He had concerns of what I was gonna build it behind him, and he said, hey, you're not gonna block my view to the west. I wanna sit out on my deck and overlook the town. And I said, we shouldn't build anything that high there. So, last thing I wanna do is put a tree there that he's gonna end up cutting down because it's blocking his view, so.
Sure,
you know.
sure.
But I mean, as far as like bushes and, low shrubberies and things like that, I'm sure, we'll have a good
sure, yeah,
break between the two developments. So,
okay, gotcha. Yeah, I guess staff's recommendation was, and, if the developer can match that, is to, just kind of continue this fence along the eastern boundary to, kind of provide some additional screening for these units, and also to continue the fence south here to lot 14 here. So you would have let me go to the new plan. The fence, so right now it currently is right here.
It's right there.
Yeah, and so staff's recommendation is to ensure that it's, here-ish. If that's a condition the commission wishes to
Yeah, I think the
uphold.
code requires either landscape buffer or fence, correct?
That is correct, yes.
So we'll comply with that.
Okay.
So what would the fence look like if you would decide to go that route? To me, that would
Usually, I
be-
think it's just a white vinyl fence.
That's what I was
6-foot
thinking.
white vinyl
Yeah.
fence. So we think we can do a better job landscaping wise. I'm thinking, purple lilac bushes look good, forsythia bushes look good, so.
I think I would rather see a landscape, the buffer there, rather than a white fence all along that whole, and I think the
Yeah, we're
neighbors out there would.
Trying to
like
make it
that
more
better.
residential than more of an industrial look,
Yes.
so.
If that, you think that would meet staff's
Sure, yeah,
approval?
yeah. That's we hadn't seen anything, so we were going with what was there.
We'll comply with that landscape
yeah.
buffer requirement.
I really appreciate you guys trying to save money on the western side of those townhouses. I guess it's the Grove townhomes that, with the parking pad instead of a garage. We're trying to attract younger folks to that market, you guys, and I appreciate that emphasis of lowering costs. Thank you.
So I would still like to see the 20-foot alley.
Yeah, I
Is that
feel bad.
something
I
that-
feel the same way, but,
Well, here's
you're
what
spitting
we
in the
can
wind
do.
here, I
If you
think.
wanna do that, John, if you look at the drawing, the code says you can do a 20-foot alley, and again, this is a PUD, and your alley rule is not a PUD, it's a written rule for R1A, so that's why we're here talking about it. But if you want us to connect the dots in those alleys with concrete, if you look on the right side on the first alley, there's already 20-foot plus of concrete. So that's already met the code on the first alley. The second alley, I've got to connect a little bit of concrete going north-south. On the curled alley, I've got to add a little bit at the beginning and the end, so we can meet 20-foot of concrete the whole way. Your code also says that 20-foot alley is required, but you must leave only 10-foot open for drive lanes. So I can't police people from parking in that alley. I can't do it. Your own code allows it. to your point, Mr. Shear, I think last week you said you have never really had an issue, but people park on both sides of the alley. So if you want us to add the 20-foot alleys, we can do that, but we also had a conversation with the chief, and he said, hey, he would rather have sprinkler buildings than a 20-foot alley. So we can do one or the other, but we can't do both.
And you're saying you have 20 foot of concrete because of the driveways into those covered parkways? Is that what I'm?
Correct. Those, Mike, on the.
Right.
Give me that pointer.
I see where you're at. That just one little area up there where there's not. Right.
Yeah, so we pretty much got the lane there ready. How do you want this thing?
If you really.
You know, that,
Kurt, it's this button right here.
this area right,
You gotta hold it. Yeah, there we go. All right.
this area right here
Correct.
is basically, that's all solid concrete right now, in front of those garages.
Yeah.
So we add
Something there.
pavement right there,
Right.
that'll be a 20-foot driveway.
I'm with you.
And we'll connect the dots, so that's not a big deal for us.
How about on the other side, though? What is gonna be, you said that's a solid concrete on the left of that drive. Go back to where you were before. What's on the right-hand side? Are those driveways?
Driveways.
So basically, it's gonna be concrete, but is there gonna be stuff in between each
Well,
one?
right now, we propose grass strips in between them.
Okay.
For
Okay,
dog, you know,
but
dog-
there is a separation between them.
There's a separation.
Okay,
Here, when there's no driveways, there's
Concrete,
no,
I've got a 20-foot driveway.
right.
I come over here, and I can put
we can come in from both
either a wide lane here, or I can just connect the dots right through here and make 20-foot of pavement. So it's doable either way. If you guys are insisting on 20-foot of pavement, you know, I'm just telling you, I've been doing this for 32 years, and, you know, me and Charles go round and round about MS4 and runoff and all that, so, you know, we're trying to make it as green as we can, but, and still meet the
Is
requirements.
the trade-off to meet 20 and have the city take it over, or keep it at 12 and the HOA has to maintain it?
Well, if you guys don't wanna maintain it, there's gonna be a homeowner association in this development. You guys don't plow, you don't plow alleys now. The city doesn't plow alleys.
Hold on.
Yeah.
We did, we started to the last, yeah, thanks.
Keep straight.
I know, I'm
trying to plow my brother's.
I know. And it's been a bone of contention, but I think with several storms we've had the last couple of years, and with the contracted waste hauling that the city has, we don't want them using that as an excuse not to be able to go ahead and serve trash. So we have gone in and now started to plow at least some of those, and I can't say every alley, but I'm saying some of those alleys in town due to the fact of, we want to make sure our residents get the trash.
Where do you expect trash to be picked up then on these? Out of the alley?
It'll be in the alley. Yeah, we don't want it out on Foxcrest, because that's a major thoroughfare, so we want to keep the trash as much as we can in the rear entry and in the internal piece, and then obviously the people on the outside will be right out by the street.
Right.
But, again, the code does allow for you to park in that alley. If you make it a 20-foot alley, you can park in it. So what we thought is, we would still make it a 12-foot alley. Keep in mind, we also said these are gonna be one-way alleys. So we're gonna have everybody go in one way and out.
Remember that.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I remember.
Game changer.
No, he always said that.
I didn't remember that.
yeah, no, we brought that up last month. We wanted to go 12, Mike, but keep them one way.
No, they mentioned
Okay.
that.
I missed that then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, I mean, you guys talk it over. We can do, if you're gonna say, hey, we gotta have 20-foot of pavement, we'll give you 20-foot of pavement, but then I don't think the builders got the money to do sprinklers and 20-foot of pavement.
I understand that, and Mike, just so you understand, that one way doesn't necessarily, that's fine for people driving day to day, but police, fire, and EMS don't pay attention to one-way streets. And I mentioned it at the last meeting, that center area is gonna be an address concern, so that we know where to go in there, because you're not gonna be able to, and I'm thinking more of EMS and police. Police are gonna wanna go to the front door. So they're gonna have to know where to go in the middle to get to the front door. EMS is probably gonna have to know that way, but then may move, because it may be easier
especially those on that left side that have the garages coming in the back, it may be easier to go out the back. So that center corridor is gonna be an access issue no matter which way we look at it, whether it's one-way streets, whether it's 20-foot alleys. 20-foot alleys gives us better room to work and pass because of the driving that way things go. And, you know, if it's a domestic thing, you're gonna have 2 or 3, 4 police cars in that alleyway, and that usually involves EMS. So now you've added that to
But
it.
you're pretty close to 20-foot every place, at least of concrete, to get around.
Correct.
Except for those little areas
If
in
they
there.
would fill in those areas, I'm not opposed to that. And as far as the parking, we can put no parking signs up. We can require no parking signs.
I don't know why you would park there, though. I don't know where you'd be going, though, if you parked there.
That's the other
You know what I
thing.
mean?
Sure.
They would be going to the back doors, if there
Right.
are back doors.
I'm not as concerned about the parking as I am the EMS.
No, I'm not either. The EMS access and police access is actually more of a concern than the others.
I just wanted to address the addressing if I could. So we're, one of the communities that we build in is Newtown in St. Charles. And that entire community is really oriented at alley-loaded or rear-loaded product. So you've got thousands of units just like this that, you know, we're building along with Whitaker Homes. So the way that it works is that your alley has an address just like a street. So from an EMS standpoint, and you can look on our website if you want, we have one called Arpent Alley, for example. So, you know, say, you know, the units along Foxcrest Drive there would be 123 Foxcrest Drive, and police and fire or EMS would know where to go to 123 Foxcrest Drive. If the alley was named, you know, Washington Way, whatever it is, it's 123 Washington Way, and they would have that plugged into their system just like it would be a street. So,
Very good. Thank you for explaining that, because
No problem.
that helps. Any other questions from commissioners?
No, I've been there, I should know that.
I would still like to see the 20-foot alley, and I'm not sure what the definition of an alley is. I don't have.
I wasn't.
Look here.
I guess I can get into this. So by our subdivision code, an alley is a secondary means of access. So these alleys right here that are, these units in the central green, I mean, by our subdivision code, they are not alleys, they're streets, because they're the primary way of access. However, this is a planned development, so you kind of throw all that out the window a little bit, So it's not really relevant, but
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just was wondering what that definition actually was.
I would reiterate, I guess, some comments from last time a little bit that, I do have one of the old alleys in town that is the 12-foot, is a narrow alley. I don't even know if it's 12, to be honest with you. Ours is a dead-end alley. It's not a through alley. We have never really had issues with trash delivery. I've not had issues. The last few years, the city has been doing a wonderful job of taking care of the snow. We've not had issues with the snow plowing. The only time it has ever been an issue that I can remember was when we had an emergency on the street where several police vehicles arrived before the ambulance got there. So they had to do a little car shuffling to get the ambulance to where the ambulance needed to go. That is the one occasion. But as far as parking, people park on the alley. Our driveways, my garage is rear entry garage, no different than some of these, directly off the alley. I park behind my garage all the time. My neighbors do the same. It's never stopped trash or services or anything like that. So, for what it's worth.
Chief Frankenberg did call me earlier and said that he had had discussions with the developer about sprinklering the buildings, and he's fine with that, doing it under the plumbing code, and that would also require some additional fire stopping in the units. So he's willing to do that, and since this is a PDR, we can make that a requirement also. And he was agreeable to that if they want to stay at the 12-foot, but that would be a requirement then that he would want to see.
Did he mention whether he preferred one or the other?
Not really.
Okay.
He didn't really have strong feelings one way or the other. It was just his perspective from the fire aspect.
Right.
Which I totally understand, and I would agree with that.
Okay.
Because I brought it up at the last meeting.
Sure.
About sprinklering.
Sure.
And again, that would probably, I'm not gonna speak for Tim, but I'm sure he's just referring to those inside units and not the ones that face the regular 28 and 35-foot streets, because
Right.
we have direct access there.
That's not a problem.
Is that correct in your discussions? Okay.
You're just gonna sprinkler the ones off the 12-foot, off the alley.
You guys were trying to save costs, you know, and,
So am I.
If
I
we
mean,
put-
we could require a lot, but would we get a good builder to do it? I don't know. I'm toward leaning, letting them do the 12-foot street with the concrete, because you can drive on it, and whether or not it's named a road, you know, I don't, to me, that's semantics. And if those houses down where they need to be sprinkled are sprinkled, to me, that's just as important, maybe more so. I'm not a fire guy, though.
And I would agree with that. If you're willing to sprinkle those houses on that inside corridors, nucleuses there, and stay with 12-foot, to meet the building code requirements for the plumbing code for sprinklers, I think that's a good negotiated trade-off.
Well, and I feel, we rely heavily on you, and if you see that as a reasonable, I can go along with that too, because
Yeah.
he's our fire guy.
We've done that in some other developments, if you're familiar with what's going on in the East End.
Oh, yeah.
That only has one way in and
Yeah.
one way out.
Yeah.
And that whole complex is.
The one way is
It's
key,
sprinkled. Good.
as Mike mentioned. But I think making the concessions is worth it. Like I said, with the tiered type of units we'll have in the development, along with, I mean, the idea of that center part, I think, is very critical for community building, something that's really important for especially new families. It can be hard to meet people. So I think just from a social dynamic, this is an interesting model, a unique model for Washington, as they talked about. I think it could work really well.
And
So-
you addressed
so-
the addressing aspect of it, so that was.
Exactly.
That was my concern with that too.
So what you're saying is you're gonna accept the 12-foot alley?
Tim would accept a 12-foot
Foot
alley
alleys,
if all those.
if those center ones
occupancies, the
were-
center ones were sprinkled.
were sprinkled
met the
and
building
going
code
from
for
there.
fire
Okay.
separation.
Sounds good to me.
And John, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the issue was really in the center of the plan there, those units that face the park, because there's not a street in front of it.
Correct.
That was the, you know, the whole idea of a sprinkler system is to give occupants more time to get out in the case of a fire,
That's
right?
correct.
So,
That's exactly right.
so the fact that, you know, all the other units have a street in front of them, right? So you can have a truck or any kind of EMS vehicle right in front of the unit. Those units, there's 9 on each side, right? So there's the 18 of them that you know, face that central open space. That I think was the concern. Now you could argue the 4 on the ends that face the street do have street frontage, but you know, we would sprinkler those, I think, anyway, just because you're going to do the whole building. So.
Yeah, that was the way I understood our conversation, and if that's what he had negotiated with you, I'm fine with that.
The other thing that we have offered in some communities is, you know, optional sprinkling for homeowners. So it becomes an option, just like a luxury kitchen or, you know, nicer finishes in your home. For some people, it helps them sleep better at night, especially if it's, somebody who has mobility issues, that kind of thing. So again, our goal is to keep our base pricing, as low as we can. If there are buyers who are interested in that, we can put a sprinkler system in any unit. So
I would definitely encourage that
Yeah.
if you can, because for that very reason, it saves time, saves lives.
Well, having just built a place, it was, the contractor offered that option to us early on, before anything had been done, that you had that option. So I think that's kind of become standard,
It is.
that
Well,
that's available.
The codes have changed and now can be done under the plumbing code instead of the National Fire Protection Code for residential sprinklers. So there's some installation changes that have been traded off there. So you don't have to go, look, you don't think of a sprinkler system like you see in this building. Yeah, no, this isn't a sprinkler, that's right. Anyway. But anyway, yeah, it's been brought into the codes because of that reason. It's less expensive to do. Any other comments?
Oh, here comes Charles.
Hello?
We had talked about with you all, if we kept them 12-foot wide and publicly maintained, that possibly the HOA would take over snow plowing. Had that been discussed any further?
If you guys take over the alleyway at 12 foot, we could possibly do the snow plow to the alleyway.
I'm concerned that the city snow plowing a 12-foot alley and it being the primary access for a lot of these homes, that it just won't get done within a timely manner for a lot of these residents to get out of there, so.
Because you would have to take a smaller vehicle in there, correct?
And alleys aren't the main focus, right?
Oh, you're doing the
We hit
major-
all the main roads. It might be a couple days before these alleys are even touched, and if it's their, it's supposed to be their secondary. If it's their primary access, they might be stuck in there for a little bit, so.
That's good.
That's a good option. I do say that the trash will be harder. I think it is possible. Obviously, we do it on 12-foot alleys now, but it does make it more difficult. But the snow plowing is probably the big one. That's
And that was my concern too, with the 12-foot originally too. So back to the developer again, if you may. I've got a question about snow removal then. You would have, the HOA would take care of sidewalks and all of that, correct?
And your green space in the center and all of it. HOAs are such fun.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this community would have a homeowners association, and it would have some common areas that are outside of the lots, not just the area in the center there. Aaron, I guess I'll borrow your fancy pointer. So there's the area in the center that would be common. This area over here, which is guest parking, which would be common. There's a few other, bits and pieces at the end here. And then this piece right here in the corner, what we would like to do is to drill a well there and actually have that serve as our irrigation, for the development. And that makes that, in our experience, is better because the whole community looks better and it's lower maintenance, rather than relying on, all these different homeowners to, water and mow their own grass, that kind of thing. So we roll that into when they sign a contract. So that those fees would be part of that. So we can include snow plowing. It's kind of a pay me now or pay me later kind of thing, right? For residents, right? You're either paying through your taxes and getting your snow plowed that way, or you're paying through your HOA. So if the city doesn't take it, it just means the HOA fees are higher, right, to take care of that. So
Just FYI, I don't think private wells are allowed in the city. They're not allowed.
okay, yeah, I'd love to hear more about that, because our drilling company, we did ask about that. Flynn Drilling is the company we use, and they said they've drilled several wells in town.
City
city wells, yeah, I know they've done those, but we do not allow private wells in the city if there's city water that's available,
Even for irrigation?
even for irrigation, correct?
And why is that? Just out of curiosity.
Protect the aquifer, I presume, but
Yeah, it's part of
Do-
our permits with DNR.
Do you want to come up and speak to that, Charles?
Yeah, I asked Kevin Quatham about this, and he said, yeah, within city limits, and it's in our DNR permit for having our wells, that it's in our zone of influence, that we can't have any new wells. We do have some existing wells that we allow to stay in place, but we don't allow any new private wells to be drilled, so.
So we really don't control that.
No, we
DNR
don't,
says we can.
DNR is the.
Right, I mean, we have
Okay.
to regulate that, and
Right.
obviously don't let any new ones come in, but.
Okay.
It's good.
Any other questions? Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak to this? Please come up to the mic and state your name and your address, please.
Dave Potratz, I live right there in the corner lot, 2218 Windcrest Court. I just had a few questions. Are these all gonna be on slabs? Or is there a roll
Sir,
Sir, you're gonna have to
Speak
ask
into the
us and
microphone,
we'll have
not-
them come up and answer your questions,
Okay.
okay? So what was your question then?
Are they all gonna be on slabs, or is there gonna be below ground?
Okay,
And he said below ground.
yeah, I believe that.
I've lived all over the world. I lived in Washington DC for 10 years, and it's townhome city there. And a lot of them are on slabs, I didn't know, but, and this is really not a planning question, but I don't know how I'll have access to the developer. Do you know the timeframes on this?
Yes, we can get those for you. Okay, we'll ask him that.
Like when you would start building and when you would finish?
I think they've provided that.
that's in our plan, it's not in,
But they didn't provide it to me, I'm sure they
No,
provided it
but
to
I
you.
think they gave us, I think they did give us a very preliminary time frame. I thought I read it somewhere.
no, it's in the, April 2026 is when site clearing, December 2026, first home's ready for move-in.
Bless you.
bless you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And when do you think it'll be completely?
he's
Oh,
doing it in
that's-
2 phases.
It's hard to, depends on how they sell.
Yeah.
That's usually what it goes.
So which is the first phase? Is it the
To the west, or I mean, to the east.
east side? Okay. Just from a personal standpoint, I would prefer a fence. I would prefer something that does allow access to my yard, so I don't have some kid walking in my patio door or something, you know, I mean, or tripping in my yard and then suing me because I didn't get rid of the damn groundhogs. You know,
Okay, so you would prefer a fence?
yeah, but,
Which-
you know, that's not a big deal, 'cause
Yeah. Where did you say your house was, sir?
Do you know what lot number you are?
I think it's like 198 or something. It's the one.
This one, right here?
The other one.
This one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or,
So,
Okay, so you're on the cul-de-sac of West Windcrest?
right.
Okay.
so this is your house right here?
yes.
Gotcha, okay.
You know,
So-
I mean, nobody's coming through that tree line. I mean,
Right
it's
here.
got
This
those
one right here.
Bushes, they had 1-inch thorns, but I mean, that's just grass over there. You could walk. I mean, kids aren't going to pay any attention to bushes or anything. They'll just, you know, they'll go where kids go, right? I was a kid once.
Well, I was looking at the elevation there, and just for your sake, that would be really steep.
Not really.
Well, by the time they're done
gonna dig it
excavating,
down.
More?
Yeah. Yeah, the way it looks here at least, there's probably 6 foot of drop. That's such fine print, I can't read it.
I mean, it would just be a hill at the most, right? I mean, it really drops off pretty flat.
yeah, but they're gonna excavate out some of the dirt there and stuff behind there, so it's gonna be a little bit steeper.
I mean, I'm trying to decide if I put my house on the market in a month or in 6 months, so, you know, so I'm trying to get an idea. I mean, when I moved here, you know, I moved, well, I was kind of forced here. I mean, I had to make a decision because it was COVID. And, you know, I was in my dad's house and he passed away and I was trying to sell that. I just needed a place to live and COVID was a mess. And I kind of liked the community, I really did. But, you know, 55 plus community is more right for me. I mean, I get it, you guys, you know, you're doing what you need to do for the city.
So you would prefer to have a fence along the backside of your property?
Yeah, I mean, it just, but don't. I mean, by the time you build that fence, I probably won't even be there.
Okay.
You know, it just, and it's not against these guys. I mean, they're trying to make money, right? They're businessmen, right? I mean, you know, this is what, the third change in about 3 years on the zoning, and this at least the third, maybe the fourth. But I didn't expect that. I mean, the house behind me is a lot closer. You know, every time they bring out the track steer, I think about and dig up the same piece of ground for the 18th time, and back and forth, you know. I'm thinking about putting my house on the market like tomorrow. But that'll pass. Those guys are fast back there and stuff, so I mean.
Okay.
But, you know, I mean, that's just, you know, and as far as sidewalks, I mean, people walk on those streets all the time. You know, that I watch it. I walk on the streets every day. I walk over to the park. And the sidewalk you put in there is great. That is great. If you had money for more sidewalks, make one over to the Aldi or the Target, and then maybe people wouldn't have to drive a quarter mile to go get a gallon of milk.
Well, we're trying to make it more walkable.
Yeah,
That takes
I mean,
time.
that would be really great. And the only other thing we might consider is those bushes at the Target. When you come into the shopping center there, and you got the three-way stop where the people coming in don't, I bet you 4 times out of 10, because those bushes at Target, they can't see the people coming in, they make the look, and then they look to the right, and then they just go, and by the time they see the car, they just come out right in front of you. Now, you're not going that fast, so there's plenty of time to stop, but if they could cut those bushes back, I think it would, because now you're gonna have fire trucks going out there, right? I mean, I guess that's the way they're
Yes.
gonna go out, so that
Okay.
whole intersection there, you know, when it backs up through the three-way stop from the light and stuff, it gets really, you know, congested. So it's
Okay.
something to consider.
Okay?
Maybe change the light frequency so it doesn't, I
That-
mean, it'll suck for
That we
100,
can't,
but.
that we can't do. That's a MoDOT.
Yeah, but.
That's a different committee.
Yeah, that's a
That's a
different.
different committee.
But now, you know, because once it gets to that three-way, then people don't know what to do, because they're backed up through the light, and then people start coming in, and they don't have to stop. So anyway, I'll let you guys go. and-
Okay, anything else, sir, that pertains to this topic?
No.
Okay, so, thank you. So, can I get an answer to his question that they are all basements? Is that correct?
And that's not a big deal.
That's correct. We're not proposing any slabs for these homes. They would all have basements.
Okay, thank you very much.
Aaron, back to even the fence. His lot doesn't even go up to any of the where the area is.
No, that's correct. I mean, like,
The lot next to it is.
yeah, that's going to be single family from Stonebridge. So there's going to be maybe one or two. I don't remember the exact
Oh,
plans.
no, nothing
Sir.
behind it.
Sir,
But that's not relative even to the fence that they're gonna be putting up, correct?
That's correct. On their plans, they only have a fence right here, north of where that
Right.
corner would be. So, correct.
Okay.
okay. So I guess we're to the point, if the commissioners don't have any other discussions, is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak to this? Then I would like to go through each one of the staff recommendations and make sure that we're all on the same page
Correct.
with this.
Yeah.
Item number 1, reoriented the guest parking near the common area to the south side of the main road. I think we want to keep it where it's at. Is that what the
I would
commission
agree.
feels?
Yes,
Okay?
yes.
Aaron, is that okay with staff?
You're the commission, so.
I understand, just as long as we're not missing something.
Yeah, no, that's fine, yeah.
Number 2, that we would approve the 12-foot alleys, provided they fully sprinkle the infilled areas in between those, and I can't tell how many units there are there.
9?
18, 9 on each side.
That's the wrong one.
That would be correct?
Correct?
Okay.
Yeah, 18.
Number 3, sidewalk required on the south side of the main road?
No.
No, and okay with where it's at?
Yeah.
As long as they have the handicap ramps coming off and going that route? Continue the privacy fence to lot 14 and north to lot 1, or a buffer. And I'm fine with the buffer if.
Could be landscaping, doesn't have to be the fence.
Yeah, and that'll need to be done before the final plat, or excuse me, final development plan approval.
Okay.
So
Correct.
council will see that and make sure that that's all good. So
And obviously a maximum building height of 40 feet. That's
Correct.
pretty much a given.
yeah, and then the only other recommendation that you need to do is, since this plan in front of you was, I kind of mentioned this at the very beginning, but since this plan was not the plan they submitted, just make a recommendation to adhere the final development plan to fit what you see on screen before you today.
Right, and add the HOA requirement for snow plowing,
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
right? Because we talked about
That's
that.
the only other part. Exactly.
Okay, so we actually have 7 items then that need to address to that. Agreed? Yes, Kurt?
We got it.
Kind of can address this. I was unaware of that. Do we want to add an 8th item and have a name requirement for those alleys? Because I just want to know that going forward, if we come up with another spot like this in town, that we kind of have some sort of addressing, and because those of you been around, we've had issues with addressing and names and roads and stuff like that, so
I think that would be helpful.
I mean, it just-
If they
I
can
mean,
do it that way.
just as long as.
Put it as a condition, I thought it would be a requirement, but if it's a condition.
Yeah, we would require
I was gonna
that.
say, that's
I
staff.
just want to make sure we're all on the same page as far as the naming of the alleys.
It doesn't hurt.
For the addressing,
Right.
Right.
so everybody's good with that.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Belts and suspenders is always good.
Okay,
Double duty.
everybody understand the recommendations? Then I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the PDR
83
for Parkway Estates
to 83.
with the changes and recommendations discussed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing it progress. 'Cause I'll be working out of that station out there, so
Nice.
I'll be driving by there a lot.
I bet.
Okay, next item on the agenda is file number 26-0305, special use permit at 902 West 7th.
Yes, so before you tonight, you have a special use permit for a secondary school located at 902 West 7th Street. The applicants wish to operate a private school out of their home. They have indicated that they wish to have 3 to 8 students on the premises between 8:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Since this is the applicant's primary home, a lot of the home occupation rules do apply to this. And looking into that, there are several conditions that staff recommend because, this is a home occupation, so a little bit different than what the applicant would want, but just to make sure everything is compliant. So, permitted home occupations. Home occupations are permitted as an accessory use to a residential use in any R residential district. The following are typical examples of uses that can be conducted, but the list below doesn't necessarily qualify a home occupation as a listed use. So schools more broadly are not classified as a home occupation, but music and dance teachers are. And they have a limitation here, and that says, provided that instructions shall be limited to 1 pupil at a time, except for occasional groups. And this occasional groups provision, this is under prohibited home occupations. Any home occupation that involves periodic group meetings / sessions more than 4 times during any consecutive 12-month period. So that being said, what the applicant is requesting to do, which is a 5-day-a-week private school based out of their home, would not be compliant with our current home occupation recommendations. So this is the home, and staff have recommended that the school be limited to 1 pupil at a time in compliance with their home occupation requirements. And telling that to the applicant, that just simply won't work for them. So that being said, they've requested to table the item, provided that. Well, I guess let me back up a little bit here. So, in looking at what we allow as a home occupation, it's come to my attention that there might be certain types of home occupations that we are precluding because of this, rule that says any home occupation that involves periodic groups, meetings, slash sessions. Those specifically being homeschools and like homeschool co-ops, tutoring sessions, things of that nature. And that being said, the applicants wish to table this application until the next planning and zoning meeting, provided that the commission directs me to take a look at some of these rules to maybe allow for homeschool co-ops and tutors and private schools for a certain number of occupants. So I'll let the applicants come up if you want to talk about your vision. And
A lot of people who do home, that come and do it.
Please state your name and address, please.
Sure. I'm Jeff, and this is Lily Melton.
Welcome.
We live at 902 West 7th Street.
Okay, I figured as much.
Makes sense, yeah.
So as we've submitted in the article, sorry, my voice is not quite here, so I will do my best to be loudest. We are interested in starting a small private school based out of our home. We are currently employed doing something similar, not in Franklin County, somewhere else. So we've seen it happen. There's been a lot of interesting changes in education, currently with technology and post-COVID times. We currently have 4 families interested and 5 students interested. All of these families are in the Washington area, and they're also entrepreneurs. So we have some interest in the area to do this. It makes the most sense to us to start potentially in our home. And as I was thinking, the idea of having a few people drop off their kids during school hours to use our facility to read and to think, potentially to garden, to cook, and do these things during the school hours doesn't seem to me so different than a lot of people in our neighborhood who might have a few children dropped off during the school hours that they're doing a daycare for. So I'm just thinking about the difference as far as the effect on our neighbors in the community. People often run small businesses out of their home. Not usually, they wouldn't be called schools, they would just be doing daycare. So it seemed to me very parallel or analogous to that. But in our discussion with Aaron, of course, he's like, but there's a rule here. So that is what we're here for. So if you have any other questions or anything that we could help you with.
Any questions or comments?
I mean, there's really not, so I know other families that do homeschool their own children. I'm just curious, are there certain DESE standards? If you're doing this in Missouri, like the entrepreneurship that you're doing, so I guess, are there any standards, educational standards that you are aligned to, or is it just?
The standards for Missouri are very lax.
Yeah.
For school.
For private schools.
For private schools, yeah, for private schools. So you have to keep vaccination records. You Missouri Constitution and state, U.S. Constitution test. And those are your standards for schools for Missouri.
Well, I know there's a lot of charter schools, and I know someone who worked at a charter school. You didn't have to have any requirements on the teachers. You didn't have to have a curriculum. I mean, it was kind of sad that, to me, it sounded like, of course, being a librarian, you needed more structure. But at the same time, I think maybe we need to change how we define this, because I have a feeling this is not going to be the first person. The library was my thing here, and I know there are groups who go and meet regularly at the public library, and they're signed up for the meeting room, and they have a space. Now, that's not the same as in your home with the gardening and the cooking, which is cool, but it's something we may need to look at, because if this becomes very popular, and you're setting a standard here, you know, that there are going to be more that will follow, I think we need to have some structure ready to help you do the best you can.
Yeah, I would agree. I did honestly a lot of research about this specific file, and there is nothing like this in Washington, believe you me. So, that's why I believe, and I advised the applicants to request us taking a look at how we regulate schools, whether that be a homeschool or a tutoring session in our as a home occupancy.
Because this is a real step up from homeschooling, to me.
Right. There's a difference, because they're not your kids. I'm assuming they're not that's the difference with basically in homeschooling. And
That and the
just
number.
so you know, I spent 23 years doing education policy for the state of Missouri, so I have a broad base of knowing things here. From this file standpoint, I don't know where we draw the line. Do you allow 2 students in? Do you allow 5 students in? Does it based upon the square footage of your house? When do we get to safety standards we have safety standards for short-term rentals. You got to have entrances, ways to get in and out if there's an emergency. So those are the questions that came to my mind is where's the line drawn? Because right now the line's drawn at 1, I believe, correct?
Correct. And that's why we want to,
But
personally
where
as
is the
staff.
line? I don't know where the line is. If you want to come in and have 5 people in your house, maybe that works for you. I don't know what the square footage of your house is. Are they going to be sitting on top of each other? But at the other point of view is I have to look at is if it's not a quality standard for those parents, they're probably not going to put their children in that situation, or they'll withdraw their children from that situation. So, I get both sides of the coin on it, but I get real leery when we start talking about businesses in residential areas as well. And I know small businesses, I worked out of my home. I was a lobbyist for 23 years, and a lot of that I worked out of my home. Nobody ever came to my house to meet me talk about lobbying, I can tell you that, okay? So I don't know where we go with it. I appreciate what you're trying to do, and I understand what you're trying to do. I just don't know, right now the line's 1. I don't know where the line is.
Yeah, and
Does that make sense to you?
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
That's unusual for me to make sense, because I look at it.
Well, and we certainly don't want to make this hard on you, but what you've got to realize that since you are breaking new ground, it's important for us to know how to structure this so that you will be successful, and anyone else that comes to us, we'll have a plan.
Well, at the same time, protect the students, the families and
Absolutely.
stuff like
Well,
that.
and we're just talking fire and stuff. I've just been through an occupancy permit, and it's common, I don't know whether we would do that for a business in a home, but there again.
Depends, yeah.
You want to make it safe, there's a lot of questions.
She could babysit for 4 kids right now and not have to get
And
any
not need
permit
to
or
do
anything.
Correct. And I actually clarified that with Mark, that our daycares are not, they're not required to meet this, group meeting requirement that we have, because, I don't know, Mark, do you want to elaborate on that a little bit? All right, well, there you have it.
I think you're okay with us tabling this so we can educate ourselves and Aaron can do some more research and bring it back to us. If you're okay with that, I would rather see us do
And
the
as I
right
said,
thing.
we're not trying to make this hard on you, but this is a whole new ball of wax here,
Right.
an adventure that you brought to us.
Did I hear this right? You've done this in a different place? Or you're,
We currently are teachers, yes. So we currently teach at an adolescent program or a 12 to 18 program.
At a private school, we work at
At
a
a
very
private school.
tiny private school, not in
Yeah.
Franklin County.
Yeah,
okay, but not in a home either.
that's incorrect.
It is, you are working out of a home now?
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting.
I would just be interested if you would, in talking this over, if you have some ideas on what some quality standards should
Yeah.
be for the house.
I mean, is there any regulation that we could look at? Because
Yeah,
we
that-
just really,
that
like I
you're
said, we just don't know. We don't know right now.
Sure.
A lot of it.
There's minimum space requirements for daycares, right? I don't think there's minimum space requirements for already built schools. There are minimum space requirements for future educational facilities, right? Things that they build now. So I think it's maybe 50 square foot of every person that would be occupying that.
I think, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think one thing that with it, and this is always, I think, a struggle with planning and zoning a little bit, is it kind of bleeds into other areas. And right now, I think we're bleeding a little bit into the building departments, into the building department's requirements and what their design team is gonna need to kind of take into consideration. And I think, since I see Blake sitting back there, I think that it's kind of, some of it's gonna be a discussion a little bit that the building department's gonna have to kind of weigh in on a little bit from the standpoint of what that requirement is inside the building and all that stuff. As I look at what you sent, if I understood it correctly, we're talking about primarily older children, correct? At the age group, right? We're talking really like middle school, high school age
Sure,
kids?
secondary education, middle school, high school,
Sure.
but also alternative education. So we're not talking about having tables and desks
Chairs
and people tied to computers. Very alternative, so the space, I think, should be considered in that way, not in a very conventional space thing. So I think it's flipping what we think of as education, which
Well,
makes me think it's more
kind of
suitable at
like,
home anyway.
when you look at the Montessori idea of preschool, that is very unstructured, and which works.
I think to kind of finish the thought a little bit, if we're gonna, if we're looking at tabling the project, or, the idea for tonight to come back and have a discussion, I think one of the things from a zoning standpoint that I would be interested in, Aaron, is how are we gonna deal with parking? Because we're talking potentially about people of the age to drive, potentially.
Yes.
And we're in a residential neighborhood, and the last time I drove through that part of town, there's.
No off-street parking.
Right.
Exactly, so I think that's a discussion that while we're working on that, I would like to hear what staff's recommendation would be as far as how we address parking.
Yeah.
I would like to table this and see if you can find anywhere else in the United States that this is being done, and come back with some ideas.
Yeah, that would be great, because frankly, it took me this long to figure out what to do.
Right.
To tell you guys, so another month would be great, so.
Well, at the same time, I would think if we could ask Aaron to see if this particular ordinance needs to be adjusted to deal with not just this situation, but something else that might come up.
Oh, sure, yeah, no, I thought, just kind of offhand, tutoring facilities, other types of homeschool co-ops, there's a number of other things that, that's just related to school. So there might be some other things regarding home occupations that we might want to take a look at this time that are, if this is triggered, so I agree completely.
So we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded that we table for, till next month and give staff and Aaron an opportunity to do some more research and educate us next month. So thank you for coming up here and
Thank you,
explaining
folks.
that.
Agreed.
Next item on the agenda, file number 260306, preliminary plat, Highland Meadows, plat 11.
Yes, hello. This is a two-lot subdivision at the on the let's see, west end of Don Avenue here, and KJ Understall Drive. The applicant is creating 2 lots here. The only comment that we had from staff is that before the subdivision is granted final plat approval, the applicant must escrow or submit plans to extend sanitary sewer to Lot 2B. And I guess the applicant is here if you want to talk more about it.
Again, for the record, Kurt Understall. Yes, we have a retail purchaser of Lot 2B. It's a national muffler company that wants to locate here in Washington. And we're just trying to give him what he needs, but still keep that corner lot for, hopefully you can
Get it.
land something.
Get it. Well said.
I got the whole list here. I got phone calls. Culver's, Wendy's. We got a Wendy's now, but Culver's, and, you name it. Olive Garden. I know the mayor personally wants a Costco. I was told him, I said, you give me 250,000 people, we'll get a Costco. We can't get a Costco.
We ain't there yet.
But, so anyway, that's what we're doing, and I'm in agreement with staff. We'll get water and sewer brought over. There's actually a manhole at the corner of Lot 2A, and we'll extend that over to Lot 2B. There's actually a fire hydrant and water there to that lot already, right on the corner. Transformer, electric's there, natural gas is there, so just basically dividing that off for that individual.
Very good. Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Anyone in the audience wish to speak to this? If not, I would
I'll
entertain.
vote
Motion
we
to
approve.
approve.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the preliminary plat for Highland Meadows, plat 11. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 6, code change, lot coverage code change recommendations.
Yes. For those of you who weren't here were any of you not here last time? I wasn't here. Okay. Oh, you read enough? Okay, gotcha. I'll skip to the good stuff. So, okay, let's see. So yeah, just a few more things about lot coverage, and then I'll pull up the specific amendments, and we can have a further discussion. So, I did not mention this at our last meeting, but there are some additional accessory structure regulations that protect, accessory structures in residential areas from being overly large. Those being the square footage of all, number 5 here, the square footage of all accessory buildings combined must be less than the primary structure. And then number 7 here, no more than 2 accessory structures shall be allowed on a lot. And if you count up all of the residential districts in Washington, that's about 44% of Washington's land area. So you've got 44% of Washington that is regulated by these standards. So you're not going to have, crazy lot coverage over, all of Washington just kind of by default. And then this example came up recently. This was brought to my attention, or staff's attention, at Tuesday's site plan. Here you're looking at 2794 Earthcrest. It's the home with the red square on it. Their zoning is R1A, and the R1A district has a maximum lot coverage of 25%. The lot size is about 200 square feet, and the size of the home is around 4,000 square foot. So that means that they have a current lot coverage of 37%, which is way out of line for what our maximum lot coverage is. And the homeowner came to staff and requested to put up a covered deck here. So they have a currently existing deck that was uncovered, and they requested to cover it. And because covered decks count towards your lot coverage standard, we had to deny them, even though it was already an existing deck. So this is a real-world example about why lot coverage is not necessarily the greatest. So just thought I'd bring that up to the commission. And I'll pull up the specific code changes here. Okay. Essentially, though, I've just crossed out where it says lot coverage. So, in R1A, R1B, R1C, R1D, and R3.
You're keeping the accessory structures,
Correct.
all setbacks, lot lines.
Correct.
Setbacks, all those are
Correct.
still in place.
It's just
Correct.
not,
So it's
there's
just
no
not regulating
maximum.
how much you
Yeah.
can put within that, setbacks and everything else.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Felt like, with our discussion last time, it just, given just what anyone would want to do with their own lot, odds are it's going to look fine and it's not going to be a huge issue
Sure.
to regulate.
Sure.
Well, and part of the problem too is this hasn't been regulated.
Enforced. That's the issue. If we'd have to enforce this across like half of the city.
During the review of the codes, we
Correct.
found this.
Yeah, so ensuring that the city actually can enforce that, it just isn't practical.
Any other comments or questions for Aaron from the commission?
So what do you need from that, Aaron?
Just a recommendation to approve a recommendation to approve the code changes. And these will go to council on April, whatever that first council meeting is, so.
And so they'll make the final change. We just need to recommend.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is
Yep.
there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this?
I gotta mention something. My son, Nick's buddy, lives in Portland, Oregon, and he has a tiny house. They put it in his driveway. His wife teaches piano, art in there. It's a great thing. I don't think we have any tiny houses in Washington. Are they regulated? Can people stay in them because their buddies sleep in them when they host overnight?
So you're talking about like a home that is on another home's lot.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. We do not have those. Frankly, I would, that makes my planner brain go, yay, let's do this.
I know.
But, if the commission would like me to look into allowing accessory.
I'm not advocating.
Okay, all right.
Just mentioning.
I think
because
he's like
it's-
saying we
it's
don't
go-
want that.
It's gonna happen sometime, and we're gonna
Sure.
have to, figure out.
Well, I know there was
This
someone
us.
that had her mother-in-law living in a trailer behind her house.
Sure.
And I think they went and said, you can't do that.
Sure. I think, yeah, this is, it's not related
For
to.
residences, it's a different code, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's not related to lot coverage, but just speaking about the issue, I think if we were to, regulate accessory dwelling units or mother-in-law flats, as they're sometimes known, we would require them to be on a foundation and
Right.
on the out of the setbacks and all that
They're
jazz.
certainly
So,
going to be keeping him busy.
but we can look at that at a later date for sure.
At a later date. Yes,
Absolutely,
please.
at a later date.
Yes.
Okay.
No tiny homes right now.
That's right, that's right.
I really have no
So, I would entertain a motion
But it's
for
gonna
the recommendation on the lot coverage.
Motion to approve the code change.
Motion to recommend.
Recommend the code change.
Motion made and seconded to recommend to council that we delete and change the lot coverage code requirements in the residential zoning code. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
That'll be a fun.
And lastly, Franklin County subdivision.
Yes. So just for your sake, whenever I get an email from Franklin County, I'm gonna come before this commission and tell you what I heard. So this is the hill at Magnolia Lakes. This is right by Ming Estates off Old Highway 100 and Northern Star. They're going to be building another cul-de-sac, not dissimilar to the one that is right next to. They're the existing cul-de-sac. So let's see, you got 10 lots there, all over 3 acres,
Jeez.
all on
Those must be-
septic and that jazz. So
They would
Yeah.
have their own own septic systems.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I went to the meeting. Wasn't much discussion. So, yeah. So, just thought I'd share that with the commission. So,
Okay. Anything else, Aaron?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, thank you. Not anything else from the commissioners? Then I would entertain one last motion.
I'll move I'll second.
Motion made and seconded that we adjourn at 8:30. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, have it. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
That was way down there. It's a union
Oh, man,
technically?
a few words.
It's the only
I
one.
love that. We can count on you.
It sound-
Yeah, well, you're a rock.